Hey everybody, as promised, I'm going to take you on this healing journey with me. So I wanted to jump on and share my results from the liver support protocol that I was doing when I recorded the last video, as well as talk a little bit about the Adrenal Recovery Protocol that I started last week. So both of these protocols are part of my holistic treatment plan. That I'm following for Hashimoto's. If you haven't seen my earlier video talking more about the condition itself and how it's been affecting my life, you can search the hashtag Conquering Hashimoto's, which is in the description video of the video, so you can see that one. So the liver support protocol was all about reducing toxic burden and supporting your body's own natural detox pathways. It was only 2 weeks, but in that short time, I was able to lose 8 pounds. Yay. So that's awesome. But for me, the most important thing was how much better I felt. There's an assessment that you take before each one of the protocols, and then you take it again at the end just to gauge your symptoms and see how you're doing. And my initial symptoms were, I had 22 symptoms, which equated to moderate toxicity. Anything above 25 is considered severely toxic. So not great at 22, right? After the protocol, 2 weeks, I was able to take this assessment again, and my symptoms went down to 5. Yes, 5. That put me in the mild toxicity range. Anything less than 3 is considered optimal, but going from 22 to 5, 17 symptoms relieved, I'll take it. I think that's a great blessing, especially in just 2 weeks. And even though it was 2 weeks, in that short amount of time, I had forgotten about a lot of the symptoms I was suffering from that were related to toxicity until I retook the assessment. So definitely praising God for that, because they were a distant memory even in that 2 short weeks. And now I'm moving on to the Adrenal Recovery Protocol. I know that generally we all know that the liver filters the blood, but what are the adrenals, right? If you're anything like me and you forgot pretty much everything you learned in Bio 101, you have questions. What are the adrenals? What do they need to recover from? So I had to do some research, and I'm going to give you a little quick mini refresher course just so I don't sound like I'm talking out of the side of my neck. The adrenal glands are actually above the kidneys, and they're responsible for producing several key hormones that are vital to life. So you have hormones like cortisol, which you've all probably heard, that helps regulate your metabolism, your blood sugar, your body fat, and helps your body control its response to stress. Then there's aldosterone, try to say these right, which helps your body control your blood pressure, your blood volume, and the body's sodium and potassium levels. And then there's also pregnenolone, which is the first steroid hormone made from cholesterol, and it's the precursor for nearly all the other steroid hormones. We're talking things like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, and then cortisol and aldosterone. So pregnenolone can enhance your memory and reduce stress-induced fatigue. Most conventional doctors won't run proper tests for adrenal dysfunction because they don't consider it a real condition. Fewer adrenal hormone imbalance can actually exacerbate or initiate symptoms such as feeling overwhelmed, feeling tired despite having adequate sleep, difficulty getting up in the morning, increased effort for everyday activities, decreased sex drive, mild depression, decreased ability to handle stress, feeling faint when getting up too quickly, poor concentration, increased PMS, reduced productivity. Now those are actually all symptoms that I experienced. Some others that don't apply to me also include craving salty foods, low blood pressure, low blood sugar, reduced ability to make decisions, slowed healing, and feeling worse after skipping meals. So based on the assessment that I took, I'm actually at high risk for impaired adrenal dysfunction. And I just want to say, if a lot of those symptoms resonate for you, please reach out. I would love to chat more in more detail with you about what I've learned and some things that you might be able to do to find out what's going on in your body. Now, on to the protocol. So Dr. Wentz's 4-week, 5-step protocol for the adrenal recovery looks like this: rest, de-stress, reduce inflammation, balance blood sugar, and replenish nutrients and adaptogens, which is supplementation. So step 1, rest. This seems to be the foundation of adrenal health. And I know we all know that getting adequate sleep, it's important for physical, mental, and emotional health. And we simply don't get enough. Most of us. I know I'm guilty of it. I preach it. I know all the benefits of sleep. Still wasn't getting enough. So Dr. Wentz actually recommends that you get at least, if you're doing a healing from Hashimoto's, that you get 10 to 12 hours of sleep a night for at least 2 weeks. And this has been a little bit of a struggle for me because more sleep, especially that much more sleep, that means a lot less day that I have that I can actually do stuff in. But that leads me to step 2, which is de-stress. I already mentioned in my last video that I had to find my no. Added to my no are a new filter for my own to-do list, which friends have been trying to get me to filter for a couple of years now, and what Joyce Myers calls shrug therapy. Didn't get something done? Oh well. I've had to realize that the world won't stop spinning because I can't do something. Yes, I am truly not that important. But during this protocol, it's been important for me to reduce my commitments as much as possible. And she recommends taking time to lounge, relax, have me time. I forgot about me time. Go to a spa, and even take 2 weeks off of work if possible. So obviously, all of those things aren't necessarily possible, but I'm doing what I can, where I can. And for me, that's looked like shortening my task list every day, reducing my productivity expectations of myself for a given day. Again, less hours, less productivity. Not showing up everywhere that people think I should be. And opting for shorter work hours where possible, again, within reason. I've even become more lax in my workouts. I'm opting to strictly do the modifier for my cardio days, so that's not too much stress on my body. And if I miss a day, oh well, I just pick it up the next day. That makes sense. So for instance, last week got a little hectic towards the end of the week. So honestly, I missed my last 3 days of workouts. So that would be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for me. It happened. Step 3, reduce inflammation. So I've had to further refine my diet, to work on reducing potentially inflammatory foods. This is all gearing up to the gut balance protocol, which is next. We'll talk about that in a few weeks. But so in the liver support protocol, I had to rid my diet of gluten, soy, dairy, sugar, caffeine. Added to that list last week were grains, seaweed, hot peppers, and legumes, except for green beans and pea protein. So that leaves fruits, vegetables, meats, nuts and seeds, and eggs, lots and lots of eggs. If that sounds a little bit like paleo to you, you guessed it. It is a more autoimmune focused version of paleo, focusing on stuff like the hot peppers and seaweed, which are more specific to Hashimoto's, and being trigger foods for that. But again, we'll talk more about that in a month. Step 4 would be balancing the blood sugar. And so what I've learned is that food deprivation and blood sugar imbalances actually place unnecessary stress on the body. So to balance my blood sugar, I'm focusing on eating healthy fats and proteins, making sure that I'm eating every 2 to 3 hours. Really, it's closer to 2, I'm noticing, before I get hungry. And making sure I actually eat until I'm full. Novel idea, right? The crazy part is that once I was getting toward the end of the liver support protocol, and so I was seeing a reduction in all those other symptoms, I actually started to realize how my blood sugar was affecting how I felt. Like I could tell when it was swinging based on like how my body would actually start to feel and how I would feel better after I ate and all that. So there is something to that. I am really working on it. I'm packing snacks like a crazy woman and taking them everywhere that I go so that I can eat like as soon as I notice that I'm getting hungry. Make sure that I have something that I can eat. And finally, step 5 is replenish with the nutrients and adaptogens. So adaptogens refer to adaptogenic herbs that supplement the body's ability to deal with stressors. So y'all might have seen earlier in the week my granny pill case that I had to have Daniel run out and get me right before I started. When I realized how often I was going to have to be taking these supplements. So I did pretty good this week. Out of 84 capsules in this bad boy, only 3 remained today when I had finished for the week. So I did pretty good. Saturday was a little rough. I did not gauge my time properly, so I didn't take everything that I needed with me out of the house. Lesson learned. And I'm not going to go into the details of all the supplements and what they do, what they're for, but if you are interested in hearing more about that, go ahead and say it in the comments, and I will put something together. So I'm 1 week into the Adrenal Recovery Protocol, and I feel good. It might be all that rest and shrug therapy, you know, but my mind is more clear. I'm recovering my zen. I've noticed that I'm actually accomplishing the things, even if it's few things that are on my to-do list, but I'm getting them done. So I have that reward of that feeling of accomplishment at the end of the day. I've been able to spend some more time with Daniel and Jeremiah than I have been lately. So far so good. I'm only expecting things to get better. I have held you long enough, and it is way past my bedtime. So you all be blessed, and I will see you next time.